Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Monday's edition of Murph's Boston Sports Talk. I am your host, James Murphy, and excuse that noise, I was putting down the iPad. What is going on? Hopefully you had an incredible weekend. It was beautiful here up in the north. It was beautiful down in Florida, where I just got back from late last night. So I do apologize for the episode coming out just a little bit later than I would like it to have. But a little rest is much needed for me to bring the same energy that I always do to each and every episode. But nonetheless, I feel good. I feel excited to be back in studio to bring you more Murph's Boston Sports Talk and more YouTube exclusive content in this coming week. Thank you so much for understanding the Thursday special that I uploaded on Thursday, of course, with no Friday episode involved this past week. I think my dog just jumped off the couch, so excuse that noise. But nonetheless, it is good to be back on a consistent, regular schedule. It is freezing cold, I gotta tell you this. I do not miss this cold-ass weather here in New England when it was beautifully 80 degrees each and every day and every damn night. But with all that said, all that aside, we have a locked and loaded episode to get to, hence the beginning where it was click, click, pow. But here we go with our quick hits. After some serious contemplation, which for the past couple years it seems like, and it kind of has been, Drew Brees officially announces his retirement from the National Football League at the age of 42. He spent 20 years in the NFL, with his first 5 with the San Diego Chargers and the last 15 of them with the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, he is known and well recognized with his time in New Orleans and kind of forgotten about his time in San Diego. However, an incredible career nonetheless, well deserving of all the respect and all of the honor that he has deserved. He has an NFL record 80,358 career passing yards. He has an NFL record 7,142 completions. He has an NFL record 54 consecutive games with a passing touchdown. And he was Super Bowl 44 winner, champion, and MVP when the New Orleans Saints beat the Indianapolis Colts all those years ago. My goodness, this kind of sucks. This really does kind of suck because quarterbacks these days, the good ones, are far and few in between. And Drew Brees was a great one. He will forever be a fan and league favorite. The dude just did nothing wrong. Like, you'll come across great quarterbacks or quarterbacks with great talent, and they're just assholes. They're just jerks, right? I'm not going to name names or anything, but I'm sure everyone can kind of pick one out. But Drew Brees was a nice guy. He was so liked and he was so respected. He was a Wallen-Pater Man of the Year award winner. He had that patch on his shoulder. He's a community guy. He helped out the city of New Orleans when Hurricane Katrina ran rampant through the entire area. I think that, it was like 2005, and he just got to the team very recently, and he was already making an impact in the community. And obviously there's a gazillion other examples, doing food drives, pantries, donations, Toys for Tots, all that stuff. Just Drew Brees, an impeccable man, someone that will be dearly, dearly missed by the league, the NFL, and its fans. But congratulations, Drew Brees, on an incredible career, well-deserved, and I hope retirement with your kids and family are happy and amazing. But let's move it over to Tom Brady. The news about Tom Brady, where he has signed a 4-year extension with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This move was solely to decrease his 2021 cap number so the Bucs are able to pay their guys to retain them this year, or this coming year, I should say. He did just sign a 2-year, $50 million contract last offseason with the Buccaneers. Now he signs a 4-year extension with them so the Buccaneers can move some money around, play with some money so that they can retain as many players as they possibly can from this past year's Super Bowl winning team. Of course, why wouldn't they want to do that? The Buccaneers were up against the cap. They just signed Levante David. They just put the tag on Chris Godwin. So money is tight in Tampa Bay, but moving Brady's money around a little bit is definitely relieving for the Buccaneers as a franchise. This is not a first-time thing for Brady. Brady has done this countless times, especially in New England. This is a selfless move this is why the Patriots were so good for so long, is because that Tom Brady was able to kind of put the Patriots in a position to sign players and bring good players in. He always took less, so the Patriots could pay other people. Hence why, like I said, the Patriots were such a success for 20 years. Brady's doing the same thing here in Tampa Bay. Obviously, he likes it, or he wouldn't have signed that extension. He loves Tampa Bay. They just won the Super Bowl, and he's giving back to the... Well, he's not really giving back. He's helping the Buccaneers with their situation. Obviously, when that cap number gets way too high come the third or fourth year of that contract, he probably would be retired by then, and therefore the cap would just dissipate. So, good, smart move by Brady and the Buccaneers. Happy that they're hopefully going to be happy that they can bring a lot of their guys back, because that team outside of Brady is very good and very nice. So we'll see what the Buccaneers do with that money. If they want to bring back Fournette, if they want to bring back Gronk, we'll have to see their situation. Obviously, they're tagging Godwin, but we'll see if they're able to sign to a long-term deal or not. But moving to the Patriots, though, really quickly, Patriots traded offensive tackle Marcus Cannon in exchange of a mid- and late-round draft picks with the Houston Texans. So Cannon and a late-round pick go to Houston, and the Patriots will get a mid-round pick back. Haven't heard or hasn't been disclosed on what the picks are. I'm assuming it's Cannon in a 7th for probably a 4th or a 5th in return. One of the reasons, or one of the main catalysts for this move by the Patriots, is Cannon didn't report to the Patriots for a physical and a workout after opting out of the 2020 NFL season due to COVID-19. Players were able to opt out. A bunch of Patriots players did. Obviously, one of the reasons why their claim is why they sucked is because they had so many opt-outs. But, different story, different day. Marcus Cannon did not report when all the other opt-outs needed to report for a physical and a workout. So Bill Belichick was like, all right, F you, and he shipped him out to Houston, which is a shitty, terrible team. But very questionable move for the Texans, because they have two good offensive tackles already, Laramie Tunsil, and I forget the other guy's name, but just from what I read, he can play the inside as well. So I guess they'll throw Cannon on the right tackle, and then that other guy on the inside somewhere. Patriots saved $6.3 million on the salary cap by trading Cannon, so this is a very good move for them. It just gives them more and more cap money to spend and use this offseason to hopefully rebuild that team to its glory days, or I guess I should say 2 years ago glory, if that's a thing, right? I love the move. I really do, especially the way you got, what's his name? Trent Brown back. There we go. Trent Brown back. You have Isaiah Wynn still. Michael Onwenu can go to the inside now. Marcus Cannon was just, the odd man out. So instead of, just cutting him and saving the money, you're able to, exchange picks and move up a little bit in the draft. So, hey, all the power in that move. That's a very good move by the Patriots, because the Patriots, as I go over and switch over to our actual topics for this episode, kind of needed to make this move because, hey, $6.3 million, that's a contract for a player for 1 year, or maybe, a 2-year deal. That can be the price tag for a player that's actually going to make an impact, where Marcus Cannon isn't going to make an impact, especially where he didn't report for his physical and his workout. So it's very odd that the Texans would want to kind of trade for him, giving what Cannon hasn't done, per se. But nonetheless, A-plus move by Bill Belichick. Don't think Marcus Cannon will be missed at all. But moving over to our actual topics for this episode, we have the only headline, well, not the one and only, but a massive headline from over the weekend, where the Patriots agreed to a 1-year contract extension with quarterback Cam Newton. This deal is worth up to $14 million. I don't know the minute details of it. It's not really an extension, I guess, so I kind of misplaced my words there, but 1-year contract, bring Cam Newton back. A lot of analysts, a lot of people love this move. Me, I personally didn't want Cam Newton back, but now that it's here, I have a different perspective of it, and I'll happily give it to you. I think Cam Newton can still play quarterback in the league. As awful as he did last year, as much as he couldn't throw last year, I still think he has the skill set, the playmaking ability, and just the overall capability of being a good NFL quarterback. And I honestly didn't think that he was going to be with the Patriots this year, or I didn't really think he was going to show it this year. But that still doesn't subside the fact that he can be. There's a big difference between what I think and what can be. And I think Cam Newton can be. And now that he's with the Patriots, I hope he can be. Right? So there is a difference there. But what does this mean for the Patriots moving forward? So I've been a huge advocate of the Patriots to draft a quarterback with their 15th overall pick, trading up to get a quarterback. Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, whoever. Seems like Zach Wilson's going to be off the board more than likely because the Jets will take him. And obviously, bearing the Sam Darnold trade there. But with Cam Newton back for the 2021 season, that gives you Cam Newton and Jarrett Stidham on the roster. Now, Cam Newton, in the report of his contract deal or his contract agreement with the Patriots, is not promised the starting position. Thank you. Now, obviously, going into last training camp, it was, who's going to get the start? Jarrett Stidham or Cam Newton? Cam Newton's on a cheap deal, so it's a low risk, high reward. Jarrett Stidham's looking good. A year under Brady. Is this his year? Could he be the guy this year? And clearly wasn't. But when Jarrett Stidham did get some playing time against the Chiefs and a couple garbage time games, he looked pretty good. I think he looked really, really good. And bringing back Cam Newton, who a lot of people like. A lot of people like the way he carried himself this year, being very open and honest vocally in press conferences and interviews. He never put the blame on other people. He always put it on himself, saying how he needed to do better, saying Bill Belichick was a great coach. Could that have been a reason why Belichick wanted him to come back? Because Cam Newton will deal with Belichick's, bullshit? Possibly. Very possible. But what does this mean now? Because like I said, I wanted the Patriots to draft a quarterback. Could they still draft a quarterback? Yes. Will they? I don't know. I really don't know. Now, Bill Belichick has recently drafted Jarrett Stidham in the 3rd round, I believe it was. Drafted Jimmy Garoppolo a few years prior to that in the 2nd round. He hasn't drafted a first-round quarterback, obviously, because he hasn't needed to, nor would he want to, because Brady. But I still think it's on the table for the Patriots to move up and draft a quarterback, but is it likely? Probably not, due to the situation that the Patriots face themselves in. And that situation is obviously still the same from last year, especially when we saw Cam Newton play very well early last year before he got COVID, is Cam Newton the future of the quarterback? The future of the quarterback. Is he the future quarterback of the Patriots? For at least the short term. Obviously, he was in 2020. Potentially going to be in 2021. But after that, he is over the age of 30, but he's still on the younger side of 30. And we've seen quarterbacks play well into their mid to late 30s. Alex Smith, Kirk Cousins now, Drew Brees, obviously he just retired, Tom Brady, you look at Aaron Rodgers up there, Ben Roethlisberger, who just got another contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's not, unlikely that he couldn't be the next, the quarterback for the Patriots for the next 5 to 6, 7 years, right? But what if, a lot of people are banking on the fact that Cam Newton, fully recovers because they don't think he fully recovered from COVID, didn't have any weapons, a lot of opt-outs on the defensive side of the ball. So you bring everybody back, you retool the team. Cam Newton gets a absolute full year in the system, where he came to the Patriots in like the middle of July, COVID shortened season, no training camp, and no preseason. So, are things looking good for Cam Newton and the Patriots this year? Yes, but not like convincingly yes. I still think there's a lot of issues that, Cam Newton faced last year that could still be the same thing this year, especially if the Patriots don't bring back, or at least sign certain players or, key positional players like a wide receiver, tight end, which I will touch upon in a few minutes here. Plus the defense side of the ball. Even with the opt-outs, the defensive side of the ball still needs to be revamped, especially the interior, the front seven. So, all in all, is Cam Newton the worst quarterback for the Patriots right now? No. Is he the best? No. I still think he can play very well. I hope he plays well. But what does that mean for Jarrett Stidham? Is he going to be the backup? Are they going to try to move him? What are they going to do with pick 15, which I'll kind of address a little bit more later on. But drafting a quarterback at 15 or moving up to take one is still on the board. It's still a possibility, but I feel like it's going to be a less of a possibility now than it was obviously before the Cam Newton signing. Could the Patriots take a quarterback in the second or third round maybe? Sure. Yeah. I mean, like I said, you look at Jimmy G, Jared Stidham recently, those are, they were kind of, early round picks that weren't number one. So it's definitely possible that, maybe Bill doesn't really like or doesn't feel that, one of the top five, I should, kind of cross off Trevor Lawrence, one of the remaining four quarterbacks are a good fit or, worth trading up to get, where you can kind of just wait to like the second or third round to take your guy, especially if you feel like that guy is better than Stidham or, better than Cam Newton. Because like I said, Cam Newton is not promised the starting position job. Just because he signed a 1 year, $14 million deal does not mean he's the starter. He could be the backup. He could be, kind of like a funky special formation kind of guy and all that. So overall, very interesting move by the Patriots. $14 million. Was it worth it? I don't know. I think you might have been able to get a little bit less out of it. But if Bill likes the guy and he thinks that $14 million is worth it, then hopefully we can trust Bill. But, as the GM, past few years, I really haven't had a lot of trust. So we're just going to have to wait and see how this one plays out. But then again, I've been wrong before. I've been right before. As it stands right now, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to another season of Cam Newton. As much as I've been against it, as much as I've said I don't want Cam Newton back, if we can retool the offense and revamp the defense, then I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. I mean, doesn't mean we're going to be Super Bowl contenders. I mean, you still got the Chiefs, you still got the Bills. The Steelers going to be something. The Colts obviously got Carson Wentz, so they're going to be good. It's just we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, as we get closer and closer to the draft, as we get through free agency, it's going to be interesting to see how the team shapes up. So, once the team is kind of finalized leading up to the draft, I can give you a little bit more of a thought and take on Cam Newton moving forward. And then after the draft, of course, seeing what the Patriots, draft, who they draft, where they draft them, and who they take and such, I'll be able to give you a much better idea overall once all the kind of the major moves are done. But speaking about free agency, I do kind of want to go back because when I was getting ready to record, get a text message from a couple friends, shout out Andrew, shout out Evan, that today, it was like less than an hour ago, the news came out, or maybe like 2 hours ago. But anyways, today the Patriots sign ex-Titans tight end Jonnu Smith to a 4-year, $50 million deal with $31.25 million fully guaranteed. Now, 4 years, 4 divided by 50, or I guess 50 divided by 4 is roughly $12.5 million per year. I don't know the exact details of the contract, if it's less early and more later, vice versa, but that's a thing you can expect around 12.5 per year. But 31.25 is fully guaranteed no matter what over the course of a 4-year, $50 million deal. I like the move. I really do. I've been saying that the Patriots need to go out and get a tight end, and I've been kind of pointing to Hunter Henry a lot. Really haven't mentioned Jonnu Smith at all, but I definitely like it because he is the 9th best tight end, or ranks 9th among tight ends since 2019, with a 74.2 PFF or Pro Football Focus grade. He's been really good. Titans, he was really good last year for the Titans early. Then he kind of got dinged up and kind of slowed down a little bit. But in 2019, his breakout season was excellent, dynamic. Hopefully, with Cam Newton in the Patriots offense, he can excel and really shine. Obviously, with $31.25 million guaranteed, the Patriots are kind of hoping and banking on that. So it's going to be very interesting. You can kind of cross Kyle Pitts off the Patriots' radar. Kyle Pitts is projected to go everywhere on, in like the early to mid first rounds, between like 2 and 3, up to Patriots at 15. You can cross them off the board because Patriots won't be no longer needing Kyle Pitts because of the signing of Jonnu Smith. Now, that does bring me to, what about Devin Asiasi and Dalton Keene? The Patriots just took them last year, I believe, in the 3rd and 4th round, respectively. So what about them? I mean, Ryan Izzo was a 7th-round pick 2 years ago in the draft. Now you have 4 tight ends on your roster. You have Matt Lacoste coming back, but I believe he is going to be out of the picture, which he absolutely should be because he absolutely sucks. But I really hope with Smith and Asiasi or Keene, one of them can really shine. You can get that 1-2 tight end because the Patriots offense, I believe, is its absolute best when you have a tight end, two really good tight ends. Now, you obviously had Gronk and Hernandez for a bunch of years being, those two guys. Then you have Gronk and Martellus Bennett, with, obviously for that Super Bowl run against the 49ers. I'm sorry, not the 49ers, the Falcons was absolutely awesome to watch. Those two really, complemented each other very well. Smith is obviously no Gronkowski. Asiasi and Keens are, still nobodies. But, obviously with COVID last year, not a full training camp, no preseason games. They were kind of dinged up a little bit early in the season. Hopefully with one full regular off season, I should say, they can actually shine and perform to the way that we thought they were going to last year. The kind of bumps Ryan Izzo out and down. You could probably see him maybe get cut or just be inactive or traded or whatever. So it's very interesting to see Bill Belichick, invest a lot of money into a tight end. 4 years, $50 million deal. Hunter Henry is still a free agent, so this kind of sets the framework for Hunter Henry and his agent to kind of, propose to a interested team. I personally think Hunter Henry is better, or at least will be better in the long run than Smith. So you could potentially see a Hunter Henry deal worth 4 years, maybe $55 million, $54. It'll be interesting to see where Hunter Henry goes and how much he gets, especially after this Jonnu Smith deal. Because if Hunter Henry is roughly around that 4 for 50, then maybe why didn't we go for Hunter Henry? Obviously, they're not going to get both. It was either one or the other. I like the signing. I love the signing actually of Jonnu Smith, but I'm very interested to see what Hunter Henry will get because this is a good framework for Hunter Henry and his agent, like I said, to go with a deal or go into a deal with the team, But anyways, I'm very interested to see how the Patriots tight end group is going to look next year with Smith, Keen, Asiasi, and potentially Ryan Izzo, who knows. Overall, this is a great second step in rebuilding the Patriots offense. Obviously, Cam Newton being the first step, Jonnu Smith being the second step. It'll be just interesting to see where they go with the wide receiver position. If they bring back James White, what are they going to do there? I really hope that they do. James White is my favorite player on the Patriots. I would hate to see him go. He's exactly what they need from a pass catching running back. I really think he helps glue that offense together because if the running game's not working, you can just dump it off to White. White can run receiver routes. He's one of the top pass catching backs in the league at what he does. So, all that said, I really hope that the Patriots can still attack that offense with, free agent signings. It'll be interesting and exciting to see what they do for the remainder of free agency. But Jonnu Smith is definitely a good deal for them. And speaking of free agent signings, also broke before I started recording was the Patriots signing nose tackle Davon Godchaux. I don't really know how to say his name, but whatever. I tried to scour through Twitter to see if there was a video that said his name so I can get it correctly, and I wasn't able to. So whatever, screw Twitter. Anyways, his 2020 season was shortened due to a bicep injury that ended his season. Overall, he is an incredible force at nose tackle. He really is. I was watching a little bit of his film, like I said, on Twitter and on YouTube, and he is a powerful dude. He can get through the middle. He can get into the backfield. He can blow up run plays. He can get to the quarterback and just disrupt, the play itself in literally like a couple seconds, like 2 seconds max. It's unbelievable how strong, how fast he is. And this is an insane signing for the Patriots, obviously, because they had no interior pressure at all from the front four. And this is a huge acquisition. So this deal is a 2-year deal for roughly, or up to, I should say, $16 million. The former Dolphins player where he played, previously comes up north, which you don't really see all too often. Warm teams losing players to cold climate teams. So it's very interesting and weird, especially because I was just down in Florida. But nonetheless, is this a good move or a bad move? And I'm just going to answer this very simply. This is a great move for them. Obviously, it addresses the need at the interior D-line, like I mentioned. And this is overall another massive shoe that drops for the Patriots as they rebuild and retool their team for the upcoming season. unbelievable. Bill Belichick is really going balls to the walls here. Re-signing Cam Newton, signing in Smith, signing in Godchaux. I'm going to get that name right eventually. But I don't think Bill Belichick is done. I really don't. I think he has a lot way to go. I kind of want to see what the updated cap number for the Patriots is at the moment after those 3 moves. It just all depends on how the deal shapes out for Smith and Godchaux. But we wanted Bill Belichick to make moves, and he is. So we can't be mad. We can't complain about who he's bringing in, because who he's bringing in is what we need. We needed a quarterback. All right, brought Cam Newton in. We needed a tight end, so we brought in Jonnu Smith. We needed front 4 pressure. We brought in Davon Godchaux. I like so far what we have. Oh, there's the iPad that just went off, so excuse that. Turn that off real quick. All right, shut up. There we go. Let's keep going. So overall, I'm liking what I see so far. The Patriots are being aggressive in free agency. It's definitely going to be very, very awesome to see more moves come, more, players to be signed, more shoes to drop, players being traded, draft picks being traded, whatever it may be. And I don't think it ends there, because there are strong rumors. There's strong rumors surrounding the Patriots signing former Lions wide receiver Kenny Golladay and former Ravens defensive end Yannick Ngakoue, and it's heating up. First, let me touch upon Kenny Golladay first. The former Lions wide receiver is a current free agent, and Patriots are expected, rumored, and are in the top 3 to sign Kenny Golladay. I don't know who the other 2 teams are, but looking up Patriots stuff, Kenny Golladay is there, and he's in the top 3. Patriots are in the top 3 to sign him, I should say. That would be an insane move. Oh my God, that would be an insane move. So I saw something on, I think it was Twitter or Facebook, where through first 46 games, some 40-something games with the Detroit Lions. If you hear noise, it's Kim playing with Bogey upstairs, so I do apologize. I'll have to play back and see if that noise is there. If not, you probably just think I'm stupid. But anyways, I think it was the first 46 games, career games with the Detroit Lions. They compared Kenny Golladay and Calvin Johnson, a.k.a. Megatron. And their stats are extremely similar. Like, extremely similar. It's close. I mean, Calvin Johnson has a little bit more in terms of receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns, but Kenny Golladay is right there, and that's scary. That really is, and that's exciting. So if the Patriots can land that, then you give Cam Newton, Jonnu Smith, and Kenny Golladay. Hopefully Julian Edelman can come back healthy and be a good number 2. Like I said, you got James White hopefully coming back, which if he comes back, then even better. Hopefully N'Keal Harry can take that next step, which we've been wanting him to do. Devin Asiasi, Dalton Keene one of them can emerge as that second tight end, and now you're looking pretty good. Jacoby Myers, who had a really good season last year, maybe he becomes the 3rd wide receiver, or maybe the 2nd wide receiver, and Edelman takes a step down to the 3rd. If Kenny Golladay comes into New England, now we're talking about the Patriots being a serious playoff contender team. We really are, especially with the other moves that they've made, especially, if they potentially sign Yannick Ngakoue as well. Now the defense is looking even better, plus the opt-outs that come back. So it's like, whoa, Billy boy, you're taking us by surprise here. Because, recently Belichick hasn't made big moves. I think the last big move they made was signing Stephon Gilmore a few years ago. But this year, Bill Belichick is in it to win it. He saw Tom Brady win a Super Bowl without him. He was like, F that, Tommy boy. F that. We're gonna have to see. I mean, me being a Patriots fan aside, I would love to see Bill Belichick win another World Series just to keep the argument going of who made the dynasty, Brady or Belichick. Obviously, they were on the same team, so it was really hard to have that discussion. Was it Brady? Was it Bill? Was it just both? Obviously, Brady goes to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay wins the Super Bowl in the first season. And it's like, all right, well, maybe Brady was the dynasty and Bill was just, a sidecar. I mean, before Tom Brady, Bill Belichick was not that good of a coach in the playoffs. But if, something kind of spews from this offseason, Patriots, become good and they win the Super Bowl, now the conversation and the argument's back on Bill Belichick or Tom Brady. So we're going to have to see. Now, moving over to Yannick Ngakoue, just the same thing with Davon Godchaux. This would just bolster that front four even more. I think the days of John Simon, Lawrence Guy, Terrence he's in the secondary, so he doesn't count. Shalik Calhoun. I think they might. Carl Davis, who played a little bit with us. I think those days are kind of gone, especially with Godchaux and then maybe Yannick Ngakoue coming in. Adam Butler was also on the D-line last year. He's a free agent now. I kind of like Butler. He played really, really well last year for the Patriots, and then he played really, really well as well the second half of this year. Not the first half, but the second half of this year. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Belichick's able to manipulate the cap, because obviously you only have so much money to spend on players. And when you're dishing out $14 million to Newton, then you're dishing out roughly $8 million to Godchaux, and then $12.5 million roughly to Jonnu Smith. Depending on how the contracts worked and how you maneuver the cap, money's gonna start to catch up very, very quickly. So although the Patriots have the third highest salary cap to spend behind the Jets and I don't remember what the other team was. I think it was a trash team anyway. So the Jets are, so probably. It's going to catch up, though, very, very quickly, and it's just, I keep saying it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be exciting, and I don't want to repeat myself, but that's just true. If the Patriots can bring in Yannick Ngakoue and Kenny Golladay, it's going to be an absolute power move for the team. But, still talking about, Ngakoue, it would just bolster that defensive line even more with him coming off the edge. You got him. I know Chase Winovich has kind of played a little bit of the outside linebacker position a little bit in 2020. Will we see him move back to the line with Hightower coming back and Patriots maybe drafting Micah Parsons? We'll have to see. But if you can go Winovich, Godchaux, and then Ngakoue coming off the edge, hey, now we're cooking. Now we're really cooking with that. That front. That's only three, but your front four. Wow. And Jadeveon Clowney's still out there, but they haven't really heard or read anything about the Patriots' interest in him at all. But this would be massive, dude. This would be so massive. They can just get one of those two guys. I would love them to get Kenny Golladay and then Yannick Ngakoue. So Golladay 1, Ngakoue 2. But just give me one of them. Just give me one of them, and that would be massive. And the Patriots are going to be really, really considered contenders. You're buying yourself back in, but that's really all you can expect to do at this point, because your young players are, your returning players are okay, but you got to make some moves, because going 7-9 just ain't gonna cut it. It just ain't gonna cut it. So, anyways, after all of these moves and projected moves, what should the Patriots do at 15? I kind of alluded this before when I was talking about Cam Newton and what the Patriots should do at 15: draft a quarterback, wide receiver, or maybe a defensive player in Parsons. That would be ideal, for at least in my opinion. But what do they do? They address their wide receiver. They are addressing defense. Haven't addressed wide receiver, but I don't think any of the three wide receivers would be available come that 15th pick. I think on Thursday I mentioned how there was a mock draft of Devontae Smith dropping down to 15. I was like, get out of here. No way. If anything, it'd be Jalen Waddle. But you never know. Could the Patriots trade up to get a wide receiver? Absolutely. Especially if they strike out on Kenny Golladay? Absolutely. Even if they score on Golladay. Imagine that. Kenny Golladay, Devontae Smith, Julian Edelman, Jacoby Myers, N'Keal Harry. Then you got Jonnu Smith. Whew. Now that page. Oh, and then you got Cam Newton throwing the ball. Hopefully a fresh, brand new year of Cam Newton. Full offseason. Ooh, we're talking good. We're feeling sexy over here in New England on the offensive side of the ball. But realistically, let's just say they stay at 15. Which, okay, more than likely is probably true. I just don't think the Patriots have enough ammo or want to spend the assets to move up. Who should they take at 15? I still think that they should go quarterback, but there's going to be no quarterback there. Now, if there is, let's just say Justin Fields drops or Mac Jones drops, then go. Get your quarterback for the future and go. say none of the quarterbacks are on the board, none of the wide receivers are on the board, then go defense. Absolutely go defense. Get your quarterback in another round. Get your, if you want to go wide receiver in another round. I feel like if you sign Golladay, you're not going to need to draft one, at least early. So it's going to kind of depend on what we get here with Golladay, if we can bring him in or not. A lot of people think Micah Parsons will be on the board for the Patriots at 15, linebacker. I mentioned him last week. I really like what I see in his film from Penn State. Best linebacker on the board, best linebacker in the draft as it is now. Bringing him in, then pairing him with Dont'a Hightower, just bolstering that front seven even more. I know I kind of go back and forth between front four and front seven. So your front four is your defensive line. You got your 2 defensive ends and then 2 defensive tackles. So sometimes you'll have 2 ends, 1 tackle, and a linebacker come on the line. So that's your front four, basically whoever's on the line of scrimmage. Then your front seven includes those guys and then 3 other linebackers playing usually within the box, which is like within 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. Then your secondary, your safety are your cornerbacks and safeties. So I just want to clarify for those that may not pick up or understand what I mean by front four and front seven. So Davon Godchaux and Yannick Ngakoue would be a part of your front four. And then Micah Parsons, Dont'a Hightower would be a part of your front seven because they're linebackers. So just a little clarification right there. But anyways, I really would love to see Micah Parsons, especially if we do stay at 15. And obviously, like I said, it's going to depend if the Patriots can bring in a receiver, whether it's Golladay or not. I don't think the Patriots will trade up. I don't expect them to. Would they? And if they do, it should be for a quarterback or a wide receiver, nothing else. I would absolutely hate. Now, I've heard a little bit of chatter that they would go for something stupid like a center or a guard, and especially if they're going to lose Tooney and David Andrews. And speaking about them, which I don't want to go on a tangent, but they need to bring back David Andrews. I really think they should. I mean, obviously, the Patriots are spending money on free agency, so are we going to have enough to bring him back? Patriots didn't, franchise tag either of them. But that offensive line is not going to be good without a good center. And obviously, you have Shaq Mason on the right side, so one of your guards is good, and it'd be stupid to pay 2 guards. But I think paying your center would be a very smart decision for them. I'm getting a little talking about the Patriots, and it feels good. It feels good. I've talked, relatively bad about the Patriots, or kind of in desperate hope of the Patriots, but they're making the moves right now, and I'm starting to feel good about it. I'm feeling hopeful for the 2021 season, and you should too, and you should too. You really should, because the offseason just started, free agency just started. A lot of shoes are yet to drop, like I said, in trades, signing, players getting released. Draft's coming up in a month or so. It's a good time to be a Patriots fan right now. And, we're in a different situation than we're used to. But it's like, okay, everyone's counting us out. So let's let them keep doubting us, because everyone expected the Patriots to be in the championship or the Super Bowl game. People aren't expecting that this year. So it's just a different side of things, that us as Patriots fans aren't used to. But it's going to be nice, and it's going to be if the Patriots can come back and be very good next year, and kind of make all the haters, like I was last year, get slapped in the face. But nonetheless, a ton of Patriots stuff we talked about this episode, and there's going to be more Patriots stuff to come out over the course of this week and next week as free agency gets rolling and gets really heated up with players going off the board. But before I end this episode, before I wrap it up, I do want to kind of make a quick note of my trip down to Florida. Beautiful state, beautiful weather down there. It was like upper 70s, low 80s the entire time, day and night. And it was awesome this time of year to have what felt like to me hot weather. Where I was right by the St. Louis Cardinals and the Florida Marlins spring training complex, because they share a complex together. And it was walking distance from my friend John's house. And driving by, we drove by because we were going somewhere. Got a little footage of the Marlins practicing, and that'll be on my vlog for the Florida trip. That'll be on my YouTube channel. So if you want to, check that out, definitely go do that when it's out in a couple of days. But I just want to kind of touch upon it because it's a sports podcast, and, always want to see the Red Sox spring training. Never have. Hopefully will soon. But since, baseball is right around the corner, baseball's heating up. It was nice to see a little bit of baseball going on in person because I haven't seen a baseball game in a long time. And even though it was the Marlins practicing, it felt good to just hear the snap and the pop of the glove. Woo! And if you've played baseball, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Murph's Boston Sports Talk. I am truly appreciative of everyone downloading, everyone listening, and everyone enjoying. If you enjoyed this episode and you're watching on YouTube, please, if you haven't, leave a like rating down below and comment any and all thoughts that you have about this episode. If you're watching on audio-only platforms such as Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, whatever it may be, reach out to me on social media, on Twitter, or on Instagram at Murphs_BostonST, where the ST stands for Sports Talk. Yeah. But until then, until Hump Day's episode on Wednesday, you know it, you love it, I will. See you later. As I end recording this damn episode, I get an alert from ESPN. This happened to me once before, and it low-key pisses me off because I'd like to just kind of talk about it all in one swing and kind of, talk about it as a group to give a collective thought about everything going on. But anyways, I do have to talk about it now because literally as I hit end, I get the alert. So I have to add this on towards the end of the episode. But nonetheless, the Patriots make another splash in free agency. And this literally kind of affects my take that I had about what the Patriots should do with their 15th overall pick in the draft. And the Patriots sign linebacker Matt Judon to a 4-year, $56 million deal, including $32 million guaranteed. So average, that's $14 million a year. What does that mean for the Patriots? Well, like I was saying at the end of the episode, how, it'd be nice if the Patriots drafted Micah Parsons. I think that'd be a good fit. It seems like they're not going to because they just invested $54 million into a linebacker. And Matt Judon playing for the Ravens, outside linebacker, was very, very good. He comes off the edge very nicely. He'll probably be a down linebacker, so he'll be on the front four with Davon Godchaux and probably Chase Winovich, I would assume. Now do the Patriots go after Yannick Ngakoue? More than likely not, so you can probably cross him off the board. I think that you can still keep Kenny Golladay on the board, though. I really think so. So as frustrating as it was to have a thought about what the Patriots should do at 15, especially with the moves that they just made, although I did make a sidebar note of, Patriots aren't done yet, so there's still a lot of options there. Patriots re-sign a quarterback, or they sign a quarterback. Patriots sign a linebacker. I personally thought their big three needs were quarterback, wide receiver, and, a linebacker, and they seem to have gotten two of them. If they sign Kenny Golladay, I have no idea what they'll do at 15. At that point, they'll probably just trade out of the pick, to be honest. But it seems like, if Kenny Golladay does go to New England, then what I look like a fool because I've been saying that they need a quarterback, wide receiver, and a linebacker, and now they've already checked all those boxes off. But I don't think the Patriots are close yet to signing Kenny Golladay, although the Patriots are in his top 3 landing spots. But we're just going to have to see. Patriots are making moves left and right. They're spending money like it's no tomorrow. So a lot of stuff is yet to come out. Yet, obviously, as frustrating as it was to wrap up the episode with all my takes and thoughts collectively, I do kind of have to go on a little limb here and give you my thoughts about this. So, like I said, Matt Judon, pass rusher for the Ravens. Very awesome signing for the Patriots. They're revamping that defense. They're going to be studs next year on the defensive side of the ball. And if the Patriots can bring in Golladay, man, oh my goodness, this team would be so sexy. They would have to be a top 3 favorite to win the Super Bowl, I would think. I mean, I'm going to talk about this in next episode, but if they make Golladay a Patriot, they have to be a top 3 favorite to win the Super Bowl. Okay, you know what? Top 5. A top 5 favorite to win the Super Bowl. Because I'm a firm believer that you can't just buy a championship. And I don't think you can. Now, in baseball, you probably can. But in football, I don't think so. But there's definitely some food for thought between now and Hump Day's Wednesday's episode. So I guess I'll just have to do the outro all over again. Thank you so much for downloading, listening, and enjoying. And until next time, until Wednesday's episode, I can't wait to see what else happens between now and then for the New England Patriots in terms of signing players, trading players, and whatever they're doing. But until next time, see ya. Hopefully, We'll see. All right, bye. This is not being staged. I promise you. Oh my god, I literally ended just wrapping up the fact that the Patriots signed Matt Judon, and I click end, and the damn ESPN app notifies me that the New England Patriots signed Jalen Mills to a 4-year, $20 million contract, including $9 million guaranteed. If we want to do the math, 24 divided by 4 is 6, so it's a relatively cheaper contract that kind of replaces the Marcus Cannon money, so call that a fair wash. But oh my goodness, the Patriots are going ham this offseason, and I swear to God, if I click end and I go to upload this file into iMovie and into Red Circle, and I get another damn report that the Patriots make a signing, I am going to flip my shit. I really am. So for those who don't know, I guess I'll go over it. Jalen Mills is a safety formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles. He comes over here to the New England Patriots, helps solidifies the Patriots defense even more. That kind of shows me that I don't think they're moving on from Devin McCourty. I don't think so. But, could they be potentially moving on from Patrick Chung? Maybe. Are they going to be giving Jalen Mills a bigger role? Absolutely. I hope this means Terrence Brooks isn't coming back because I absolutely hate him. I don't think he's good. He blew a couple, pass coverages in the end zone, allowing touchdowns a couple times in the 2019 season. So that means from ever since then, I just don't like him at all. But hopefully, with Jalen Mills, that'll give the Patriots 2 deep safeties. You still got Kyle Duggar. You still have Patrick Chung as of now. Adrian Phillips, maybe. I don't know the situation with him and the Patriots, but we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on the Patriots because Bill Belichick is just absolutely firing on all cylinders. So just to recap the Patriots signed Cam Newton. Patriots signed Jonnu Smith. The New England Patriots signed Davon Godchaux. The Patriots signed Matt Judon. The Patriots signed Jalen Mills. Bill, what else are you going to do? Holy smokes, just get me Kenny Golladay now. Get me Kenny Golladay, please. All right, last time, hopefully, I'm going to end it, and it's going to be the Patriots signed someone else. Hopefully, give me a little bit of time in between. Holy smokes. All right, thank you so much for downloading, listening, and enjoying. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday, Hump Day's episode of Murph's Boston Sports Talk. But until then, as always, I will see you later. Maybe. We'll see. I don't really know. But I don't know. At this point, I'll probably be coming back again with something else. But see ya.